Center here in Abuja. We will be joining, of course, the ICC Center for Proceedings at that time. But between yesterday and now, many issues impacting on the elections have been raised by key players, of course, in the electoral process. Now, a few of those cases will involve ballot snatching, of course, beavers snatching as well, which is relatively new for us here, is the in thing now we discovered. Of course, INEC also responded to glitches on its portal, the iRev, gave reasons why that happened. We also recorded some logistic issues, pockets of violence here and there, and party agents have also been reacting, to the elections yesterday, mostly from the PDP and the Labour Party. We've also heard reports calling for calm, but generally across the country, most reports indicate that the election has been generally free and fair, violence free in most cases, but of course there are pockets of issues here and there. So as usual, just we will be joined by our correspondents who are on the field, and of course those at the state level coalition center. And right here in the studio, I will be joined by two distinguished guests. Faith Umadishe is a familiar face. She is the Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy. She's already here with me in the studio. Let me quickly welcome Faith. Faith, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
It hasn't been easy for you.
It hasn't been. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nigerians. Thank you.
Okay, also Chris Aguirre is here with us. He'll be joining us for the conversation. Chris Aguirre is the Director General, the Flag Foundation of Nigeria. Chris, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
How has it been for you?
Good morning, Nigeria.
Have you had some quality sleep?
I've been in the field. I just came in from Abia late yesterday. I went straight to the National Coalition Center. And, well, I thank God that this day has come. Yesterday came and passed, irrespective of all the mixtures, and it's a misgreed, it's an election, it's expected, and we've been talking about it, but at least it has come and gone. Of course, it's not gone yet.
We can't equate the sacrifices that everyone, including all our correspondents, we've been here. Most of us didn't even have time to, cast a ballot. So you can imagine. And from the look of Faith, the face, I'm sure she hasn't had.
I've had sleep in 3 days, I must tell you. I feel like I have a pack of sand in my eyes. My voice is gone. Up to about 3 a.m., 2 a.m., people keep calling. And since Friday, my team and I, we have barely had sleep. But it's a sacrifice for our country, for development, and for sustainability of our democracy. It's what I expect of every Nigerian, whether as a voter, whether as a politician, or as the electoral umpire. Everybody, it is a sacrifice and what we need to do to build our country. And so it will go. It will go.
It's always good to start on the very positive side.
Yes.
I'm the positive.
Yes.
So it's good to start with the kind of sacrifice, with the kind of enthusiasm, with the optimism we've seen Nigerians. We've seen the age group, come out to create a change, to create a new narrative for this election. Let's start with the sacrifice, Chris.
Yeah, we saw it coming. I repeatedly said it, that everything about the election, also this election, should be a number one national assignment. And it should be equated to a military service, like in the condition of war. In the situation of war, once you are up to a certain age, if you are not willing to submit, you'll be conscripted and assigned to a national activity. And because if you understand the importance of this election, based on the state of the nation, developments going on in the world, the young people that constitute about 65-70% of the population, of the voting population, their zeal exists, their willingness to make the necessary sacrifice for their own future, right? And so, no sacrifice is so much.
Talk to us what you saw in Umuahia.
Well, It's a mystery, like I said. I'm not, it's not, I don't want us to go to blame games. Of course, at the end of the day, blames, there must be whoever that have gone wrong must be sanctioned. One, we had the first case of the challenge of distribution of materials, logistics, which the INEC chairman described as the liberal problem. I was in Umuahia, arrived on Friday, went to the INEC office, everything was in order, materials had been moved, the place was calm, people were, and so, in the morning, when we got to different polling units, they were to be found. The National Union of Road Transport Workers, most apart from blame, according to them, the drivers said, without cash, without liquidity mobilization, that they cannot move.
That's in Umuahia.
That's no matter.
Abia State.
In Abia State, there's the issue of that they need money to buy fuel. Because fuel, we bought black market at about 600 naira a liter as we are busy going around.
So let me bring in Dr. Just a moment. Let me bring in Dr. Rauf Zakaria, who just joined us into our conversation. He's of the Department of Political Science, Nigeria. Okay, he'll be joining us in a moment. We will, get across to him in a moment. But please continue with the issue of logistics that you talked about.
Thank you very much. So that's an eyewitness experience. So as at 11 o'clock, within the Umuahia urban, we were struggling to, find every necessary and available means. There were meetings, there were consultations, there were any staff was up and doing. I must state that. In fact, in one police station, the first challenge was that the people protested that the vehicle that brought the annex staff, the ad hoc staff, belongs to a person of a certain political party, believing they've compromised, and that wasn't the case. So that's why in Abia, voting will still continue in some places today. According to the admin secretary, they said yesterday. Of course, I'm in touch with them. So, in other words, let me first say this. The issues of voter apathy that we have been crying about, campaigning about, Nigerians came out to exercise their civic duty. You've had cases of those who slept their polling voting points just to make sure they did not miss. And that's a different ball game. It's a game changer that the people have woken up to take their destinies into their hands. It may not. It's a journey. It's a progressive journey. So I commend Nigerians for coming out in mass to do what they did on Saturday.
Okay, Chris, I give it. Thank you. Faith, I know you also have your own experience here in the capital city. But I'm told we have a report coming in from Yobe, and as I said earlier on, we have results trickling in, coming in again from the states. That's the National Assembly election results, and the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, won his senatorial seats at that district. So let's get the reports now.
Zero votes, 7,210 votes, 7,210 votes. PDP received 22849 votes, 22849 votes, 22,849 votes, 22,849 votes. AGP received 3 votes, even though they did not field any candidates for this position. 3 votes. Total valid votes are 122,136, 122,136, 122,136 votes. Rejected votes 4,541, 4,541, 4,541 votes. Total votes cast 126,6 126,677. 126,677. So we see that from these results covering the 6 local government areas of Yobe North Senatorial District, APC has the highest number of votes, that is 91,318. 91,318. 91318 votes for APC. Now for the declaration. I, Professor M.O. Adeloju, hereby certify that 1. I am the returning officer for the 2023 Yobe North Senatorial District election. Election held on the 25th day of February 2023. The election was contested
Yobe North declaring the result for the National Assembly elections, and we understand that President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, won his seat. So congratulations to the winners there. Our next report is coming from Niger State, where Governor Abubakar Sani Bello is also said to have won his election.
FCE Kontagora and Collation Center for the Niger North Senatorial District. Collation of results from the 8 local government areas of the constituency were completed, and the returning officer is said to announce the results.
I am the returning officer for the 2023 Niger North Senatorial District election held on the 25th day of February 2023. Sani Bello Abubakar of APC scored 100,197. Having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
The election has really gone to show that the people's votes count. We hope that next election it is going to take the same pattern, if not more better. But let me use this opportunity to also thank the security and INEC for giving us this opportunity. The security men have done their best. INEC was with all through, they have done their best. They try to be as much to be as fair as possible, and I think we commend their effort for doing that.
Yes, the result has been announced because the election has conducted successfully, and we are here to see and analyze what the returning officers has brought here for the 8 local government Zone C Niger North, which it has been presented well.
From Kontagora, I am Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA.
All right, our correspondent there giving us details from the Niger North Senatorial District, and the results declared by the returning officer indicate that APC won the senatorial seat with total vote cast of 100,197. Thus declaring Governor Abubakar Sani Bello as the winner. That was Abubakar Wowo from Kontagora. Now we understand collation is ongoing in our Ibadan Center, and so we would like to join. We will be joining Ibadan in a short while. But first, let's go to Kaduna to have the details of the House of Representatives election results.
The 5th day of February 2023, that the election was contested, and the candidates that contested the election received the following vote. Serial number 1, Ali Asun Abdul Salam, men of ADC party received a total vote of 261. Serial number 2, Muhammad Garbadetti, men of APC, received a total vote of 31,737. 31737. Serial number 3, Lawal Umar, men of LP, Labour Party, received a total vote of 8,325. 8325. Serial number 4, Abubakar Umar Bomo, men of the NNPP, received a total vote of 2,368. 2368. Serial number 5, Ismaila Muhammad Tukur, men of NRM, received a total vote of 125. 125. Serial number 6, Abdullahi Sadiq Ango, men of PDP, received a total vote of 33,616. 33616. Serial number 7, Mohammed Lawal Shehu, men of PRP, received a total vote of 222. 222. That Abdullahi Sadiq Ango of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared winner.
All right, that you have it, Kaduna House of Representatives election result, PDP taking that victory there. And from here, let's move on now to Kaduna, Ibadan Network Center, where we're having a collation ongoing at the moment.
Total valid votes 53627. 53627. Rejected votes 2561. 2561. The total vote cast 56188. Thank you, sir. We have some challenges at the point of. So I want to give the euro to the producer. Our challenges. Okay. So how many? 2 polling units in area 05, unit 17. It's a Patrick Grammar School. The biggest, we are the biggest ever there. When we call the rackets, yes sir. Then unit 022, Central African Primary School, substantially due to what we are voting. Thank you, sir. You fill the necessary forms, 40G.
Do you have the 40G? What do you mean by flow?
Once again, thank you so much. I'm sorry for you. God bless you. Thank you. Well done. Clap for me now. I'm apologize.
All right, that was started of what's going on at the State Collation Center of the presidential elections in Ibadan. and we will return to Ibadan in a short while. But let me come back to the studio and properly introduce Dr. Rauf Zachariah, who I earlier introduced. He's of the Department of Political Science, Nigerian Police Academy, Wudil in Kano. Thank you very much for joining us for this conversation this morning, Dr. Rauf.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Faith, I was going to share in your experience here in Abuja, in the Federal Capital Territory, in terms of the efforts, that Nigerians have put into this election first, before we look at the other issues, the other, outcome of the result that we're just getting to know.
So thank you very much. In Abuja, as early as 7 a.m., we're already out on the field. We also deployed about 100 observers across different polling units in Abuja. But personally, on that day, I got to the very first polling unit by Banex, that Use 2, and at 8:25 a.m., INEC officials were ready to kickstart the election. So at 8:25, they actually started addressing voters, and exactly 8:30, voting went on at that particular polling unit. As we were there observing the polling unit, we got a call from Karomajiji Primary School polling unit that INEC officials were yet to arrive as at 10 a.m. So I went to the community, and I was so impressed with the turnout of voters in that particular community. It was a huge turnout. But then what happened again that we saw was that in that particular polling unit, there used to be just one polling unit. But that particular polling unit was now split into 7 polling units. So you had INEC officials, you had the police, security agents there, but elections didn't start there till about 11 a.m. So as soon as elections started at about 11 a.m., and the beavers was working, and truly the beavers worked very well in that particular polling unit, because it took less than a minute to accredit people who were on the queue, and that helped to douse the tension a lot in that particular polling unit. Now, one thing that happened at that particular polling unit was that even though you had security agents there, you had vigilante. And the Inspector General of Police has said the vigilante didn't have any business with the elections. The vigilante were the ones who were giving people access into the primary school. And we questioned the presence of the vigilante at that place. And the security agents didn't have any reason to give us why the vigilante were there. And even though you had all the people, they were waiting, they were voting, and then something also very interesting happened there. I saw a community of persons with disability who came into that polling unit, and they were told that they have created a special polling unit for the community for persons with disability. I was amazed. I didn't know that until the day of election. So people were directing them. I think that was polling 045. They were directing them back to the community where a polling unit had been created for them. So their leader came, and they checked their PVCs and found out that some of them were still in that polling unit, and they were giving the priority to vote. So when I saw that there was some kind of peace in the place, we're just about leaving, and we saw again about 7 vigilante operatives coming into that polling unit bearing arms. One, the security agents are not there, were not bearing arms, but we saw vigilante coming into that polling unit. They were bearing arms, and at that time we left. The reason we left was that
this is the FCT.
Yes, this is the FCT Karomajiji Primary School, just off the airport road. There was a particular polling unit I observed during the FCT local government elections at Gariki, very close to the FCMB bank there. So at that time, there were only two registered voters on that polling unit. INEC had deployed to that particular polling unit, and for the entire period of the election, those 2 people didn't even come out to vote. That was for the INEC FCT local government elections. So I decided to go back to that polling unit to see what would happen in this election. Interestingly, I found out that there were now 32 registered voters on that polling unit, and as at 1 p.m., 25 of those 32 people had voted, and they were waiting for the close of polls. Then we had reports from other places where election, just to corroborate also what happened in Abia, we had reports from Edo in Benin City where the drivers just lined up and said their coordinator didn't pay them, and because they had not settled behind it, they were not going to deploy to the field. There were some places where even from the RAC centers at 2 p.m. the INEC officials had not moved from the RAC centers to that. But the enthusiasm, the excitement by Nigerians, especially young people that I met. There was a woman with albinism that I met, and she was voting for the first time. She was so excited that she was going to vote. Though she came out to complain that the setting up, because INEC officials came late, they hurriedly set up. So they were so much in a hurry that they forgot to address the voters on the process of voting. So some of them went into the cubicle, and a lot of people didn't also understand the reason why they had 3 boxes.
Okay.
Because you had the presidential, senatorial, and House of Rep election going on. Some were questioning why you were going to have 3 boxes. They had to be explained to that 3 elections were going on simultaneously.
Okay, but this is things we expected to, parties.
Yes, political parties. Yes, they didn't do. They didn't do that. And that's why, generally, looking at the entire election, the processes, and the role that the different stakeholders are playing, you see that the different observer groups, Nigerians, the electoral umpire itself, preparing, going into the election, had so much, we had such expectation, and then you go to the field and you see that the politicians want to continue doing things the normal way, the same way. They're not doing that. Now, for every election observer, everybody that had one thing or the other to do an election day, there was a particular kind of accreditation that was given by NF, even to the political parties. But you still went to the field and you saw political parties with those kind of giant billboards that they wear in the name of tags. You see names like supervisor, facilitator, general, and you go to them and you ask
big names.
Yes, I'm telling you, please, are you a party agent? And they show you that sign, but I say, well, this is not the tag issued by INEC. And the person goes, oh, my political party gave me. I said, well, the system has changed. And I expected that the security agents there should have arrested such people because they were wearing the illegal kind of, they were wearing illegal identification.
But their presence didn't impede the process, did it?
No, because when you now have that, you don't have one political party having in a polling unit more than 5 to 10 party agents wearing different tags. You see, there's a woman leader, coordinator.
Whose responsibility is it now to check to ensure that those people, did not come into the...
It is the security. It is the security.
The police.
The police.
Okay.
That's what they should do.
Okay, let me again put you on hold so that you catch your breath. And just a reminder that the latest results we have, the APC candidate and president of the Senate, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, retained his seat, having scored the highest number of votes in the Yobe North Senatorial District. Again, we also hear Niger North Senatorial District election results. That's the Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has also been declared winner of the Niger North Senatorial District. And our correspondent Mukhtar Wowo also reported that the returning officer of the Senatorial District in Kontagora Senatorial Zone, of course, declared Elijah Sadiq Ango of the PDP winner of Sabongiri Federal Constituency. These are the latest reports we have with us here in the studio. Dr. Ralph, our expectations, the Faith talked about our expectations, and indeed we expected so much, from this process. A lot, was talked about the input of the technology, the revision of the Electoral Act and all that. Talk to us about your expectations, our expectations. What happened?
He's coming from our students and there are some problems regarding